Well, here's something you don't see every day. In fact, I had never seen one at all until one of my viewers sent it to me to look at, play with, and maybe do a little review on. Stay with me, guys. We're going to look at a Martini knife on the TheApostleP channel. Coming up. Hi gang, Rob here. It's the evening of 23 June 2014, and this is a video I never saw coming. One of my viewers named Todd sent me an email, oh gosh, it's been a couple months ago I think. In the mail shows up this box wrapped around this tin. It says Martini. Even has a website, www.martini.fi, which says they must be from Finland, and that Martini is spelled M-A-R-T-T-I-I-N-I. Well, let me read you the letter. In fact, you can read along with me. It says, Rob, sorry for the delay. I'm going through some transitions in my employment. All good, but having to adjust some things. Here's the knife I'm offering for you to check out. Feel free to work it over, take it apart, expose its flaws, and herald its good qualities. I purchased it out of curiosity myself. I wanted to see if it was any good. Didn't know what to expect as a $60 pocket knife. I probably won't use it much because of all the polished surfaces. I would be constantly rubbing the prints off it if I used it as an EDC. After handling it a bit, I might like to do some things to it, mainly replace the wood handles with something different, maybe change out the pocket clip. Beyond that, I'd be open to suggestions. Really enjoy your work and testimony. Grace and peace, Todd. Okay, so first let's see what's inside the box and the tin, shall we? It's a nice shot the camera just took there. Okay, we do have a nice presentation, sort of gift quality tin. Got a barcode on the bottom, must be in Finnish because I can't read it. It is the model MFK-2B. It says medium size. It did not come with a sheet. And here's what's inside the box. Got some sort of straw grass and a little bubble wrap sleeve, a little marketing material, or as our friend Bob from Knivestown would say, some literature. And let's see the knife, shall we? What we have here, guys, as Todd said, a brightly polished piece of cutlery. Kind of interesting. Sweet little drop point with a swedge. It says here on the laser etching that our steel is 420C. Now, maybe some of you are more astute than I, but I tried Z knives, I tried blade forums, I looked just about everywhere. I can't find such a steel. Don't know if it's 420A or 420HC, plain old 420. Don't know. It takes a really, really nice polish. So the 420 part I'll believe. Gosh. Todd's not alone. I've got to do a blade wipe. So from a little quick research on Martini's website, and this blade looks to be what, guys, maybe 3 3/8 inches, maybe about a 4.5 inch handle. Very classic profile. From my little bit of research, it looks like Martini, and excuse my sump pump, we've had a lot of rain today. Martini is a Finnish knife company. Been around since 1928. A guy named Janne Martini was his middle name, and then his last name I cannot pronounce. It's one of those long names that you have in Finland. Anyway, he founded this knife company, and apparently they've sort of been in the sporting knife market, hunting and fishing knives for, what, gosh, 180 or about 86 years or so. As I was looking over this knife, I thought to myself, you know, it doesn't look very Finnish to me. We've got one stainless steel frame slab here on the right side, and then a laminated, a two-piece frame on the left side, which is 1/2 fixed and 1/2 is the locking liner leaf, and then you can see both halves sort of fully laminated down the back on the spine. What appear to be non-shouldered standoffs. I did not take it apart. Some kind of waxed wood whose name I couldn't read because it wouldn't translate from the website. Let's see if I get any help on the box. It's not curly birch, which is offered. Nicely finished though, and doesn't appear to be laminated. So a solid piece of real wood. But as I'm looking the knife over with its construction, with its level of polish, with its kind of not super well made Torx head fasteners, I thought, you know, it doesn't seem of European construction to me. So as I was looking at the website, I read carefully, and Martini does make knives in Finland still. Those knives, according to their website, are designated with a Finnish flag symbol. They call it the Finland quality key or something like that. Kind of like, you know, when you see a made in USA label in something that's made in USA with the American flag, and the black letters made in USA. That same kind of thing. So if you sort of go through their product line, you can find a couple sort of more expensive fixed blades in the, you know, approaching $100 range that carry that symbol next to their web listing. Most or all of their folders do not. If I were a betting man, which I am not, I would guess this knife to be of Chinese manufacture. I gotta say, for the design, apparently very fine Chinese manufacture. Kind of an outdated liner lock design, I think, in this day and age. The exposed laminated steel frame and the overlaid scales is sort of like, you know, kind of buck alpha hunter 1990s, what I sort of, well, frankly, regard as kind of cheesy looking construction. But they polish it well. And one thing I did read on the website is that they really pride themselves on their edges. And I have not touched this edge. That's a factory edge. That is a smoking factory edge. So I don't know if they do assembly in China, and then whoops, sorry guys. And then do finishing work, maybe apply the edge in Finland, because that edge doesn't really seem very Chinese to me. Kind of interesting how they ground it. Let's see if we can come in kind of close. You can tell there was a power implement used. If you look at the top of the edge bevel, you can see some grinding marks, but then down by the edge, really polished. I think it differed a little bit from side to side. Yeah, not super symmetrical. Interesting what they did at the heel. That took some heavy duty grinding, guys. They've got that edge angle ground into the ricasso at full thickness. Rather than putting in a notch or dropping the cutting edge below the ricasso, they just ground that sucker, ground that edge bevel right through the heel of the knife, which I think is kind of interesting. It works. It doesn't look bad either, I don't think. Huh. Got a little out of shape at the tip, I will say. Although it's still sharp up there, I guess not. Not the last eighth of an inch or so. Kind of good looking laser etching, I think. MFK-2B. Ergo's on the knife. It is a 4-finger gripper. Let me put this in my right hand so I get an accurate read on the clip. A little slippery. Jimping works well though. We go reverse. Not that you'd ever use this knife that way, but it's a comfortable reverse grip. Draw cut grip, searching for something here. It's not necessarily uncomfortable, but my hand doesn't know where to be. And the hammer grip, really nice. Blade is, I guess you would call that saber ground, wouldn't you? Monstrously thick behind the edge. I mean, monstrously thick, like over 50 thousandths. Not sure, you know, catalog paper is one thing, it just kind of rolls out of the way, but for you know, a material that fights back a little bit, certain fibrous fruits, apples and stuff like that. Doggone it. You gotta quit ramming the camera, dude. But, you know, for a lot of slicing tasks beyond paper, I'm not sure this profile would be too effective. And, you know, it's not a bushcraft knife. But, you know, for a sweet little piece of desk jewelry, letter opener, absolutely fine. Kind of like it, actually. Let's take a look at what we can of the mechanism here. Check out the liner lock. Now, it does actually work in a rather conventional manner. Let me see if I can find a pointer that makes sense here. Grab my workhorse bench knife, Victorinox Ranger. It does actually stop on the back of the tang, back here. There's a big L-shaped notch cut in that liner lock, but it overlaps this portion of the tang because they essentially just make a cut in this liner which totally envelops the knife. So I thought for a minute when I first opened it that it was sort of an old traditional kind of liner lock that actually stopped on the tang on this top surface, but it doesn't. It kind of harkens back to that. Even some current GEC models have liner locks like that. In fact, I believe one of the knives that How About the Truth sent me coming up in the Traditional Knives Anthology has that style liner lock. Here's the other thing. It's got these huge brass bearings. They're sort of squarish. You can see them, big, thick ones. They seem to work adequately well. I do have a little bit of side-to-side play. Can't tell you how well machined they are, but It's not exactly a free dropper, but I would imagine they bear the sideways forces of this knife pretty well. Let's look at blade centering. Awfully good, wouldn't you say? Here's a little interesting fact about Martini. If you want to dig deeper into this company and these knives, this might explain the overseas production that I suspect. Several years ago, Martini was purchased by multinational, now conglomerate, very diversified corporation, maker of world famous fishing lures, the Rapala Corporation. And as you know, if you guys are fishermen and collectors of old Rapala lures, you'll know that a new Rapala lure and an old Rapala lure ain't the same thing. They've kind of gone the way of Fiskars Corporation in order to stay profitable and exist in a market that's increasingly short-sighted, opting for low price over real value. Fiskars has started to make cutting tools of all types in faraway places with not the European quality that Fiskars scissors became known for 30 or 40 years ago. I got a feeling the same is true for Rapala and some of the small companies that they've swallowed up. But, you know, for an import, relatively inexpensive production cost, they do still put a really screaming edge on. I mean, guys, I got to tell you, I'm not going to even strap this thing. It's really, really good. The kind of edge you'd expect a 420 series steel to take if you put some effort into it. Just thought you'd like to see this kind of interesting piece of cutlery. Thank you, Todd, for sending it. I'll be getting it back in the mail to you tomorrow. Appreciate your contribution of content to the channel. And grace and peace to you, my friend. And to you, my friends who are watching. And remember, the word and Todd's Martini are sharp.